Hey, there's Wisconsin Wine Guy, and we are back with another wine review. Still early in 2024, but we are starting. So for those who are new, these are wines I like to call everyday drinking wines. Every now and then I have a wine that you can't still drink every day, but it's going to be up the price point. All right, but these I like to call everyday drinking wines. These are wines you can find on the shelves of where you shop for wine, liquor store, grocery store, and some wine shops. I make a selection of wines and give you my opinion utilizing the infamous thumb rating system. Thumbs up says, I recommend that wine. It's a pretty solid wine. Can't go wrong with it as an everyday drinking wine. 3/4, you know what? I will share this with my friends. I may keep a couple of bottles on hand just for those impromptu guest visits or something like that. Halfway, not for me. There was something that was just pretty much off about that wine. It doesn't make it a bad wine, just didn't work for my palate. And I'll let you know why it didn't work for my palate. Thumbs down, always an easy one. Get that wine out of here. It's just not working. Don't even bother with it. But again, that's just my opinion. Let your palate be your guide. Okay? All right. But every now and then, the infamous double thumbs up sneaks out on a wine. And you know what? Double thumbs up. I highly, highly recommend that wine. It's very, very solid. Can't go wrong with it. But again, that's just my opinion. You taste it. Let me know. Let the rest of us know what you think if you agree with how I rated the wines. So now, let's get to today's show. So I have Castle Rock wines. I have the Castle Rock red wines. Two of the red wines. So the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is going to be 2022. The Cabernet is going to be 2020. Both Appalachian, California versus Appalachian, California. Yeah, both Appalachian, California. So that means they're getting their grapes sourced from someplace throughout California. California Appalachian as a whole. Then you have sub-regions or sub-appellations within the whole California scope of wine areas, right? So Castle Rock. Let me tell you a little bit about Castle Rock. Castle Rock, what was it? Started in early 90s, maybe 90, 93, 94. I do recall back in the day in those 90s, drink some Castle Rock wines and really enjoyed those wines, when they hit the market back then. But as with anything else, when we talk about 70s, 80s, 90s, and about mid to late 90s, it began to change a lot. And what I mean by this change was tiers of wine started hitting the shelves, where you shop for wine. Especially a lot of domestic wines. You start getting different tiers, whereas you take a wine, like Rodney Strong, or Castle Rock, for example, and some of the others, like branded, well-known branded names, from that period. You were getting their, Appalachian-specific or, their best wines on the shelves. At that time, you're talking like $25 a bottle, But you were getting some pretty good wines, at that time. Now, you start going into tiers and, you got this level of wines, you got this level of wines from the same winery, so it can, give you a completely different perception of what that wine or type of wines they produce. So, I don't know what's going to happen with the Castle Rock wines. You see, the last time I had Castle Rock wines were probably when I had my wine shop. It was... I probably had it 2008, and I wasn't impressed. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't impressed with them. It's been a long time prior to that, which would have been in the 90s, when I had the Castle Rock wines. So we're going to find out where Castle Rock is today. Again, these I like to call their lower tier, maybe, wines, price range on sale, $7.99, $6.99, $7.99 to $11.99 regular retail. So that'll be the range for these wines, But let's give them a taste and see what we got here. So we got alcohol for the Pinot Noir coming in at 14.5%. Now, I try to find out where a lot of the grapes were sourced. So they do have Appalachian-specific wines. Now, Castle Rock doesn't own any vineyards, so they purchase their grapes from different growers that they contract or work with across California. I can probably almost pinpoint these coming from the Central Coast and that Monterey area, Paso Robles, that area, for these wines. You know, so that's why I pinpoint these. So we're going to give them a taste and see what we think here. Let's open it up here. So, Pinot Noir, 2020, 14.5% alcohol, and the Cabernet the same, 14.5% alcohol. Oh, and that price is line price for reds and whites, okay? So, the Pinot Noir, the Cabernet, you know, obviously you can see that, I don't know if you can see it there in the video, but I can see it here. The Pinot Noir is much lighter than the Cabernet, but that Cabernet in itself is still rather light compared to what some Cabernets could be. So it seems like it's maybe a cooler climate type Cabernet where it's, you know, not as warm, you know, and so we'll see what it's going to be like, you know, but it still could be tasty, you know, but 14.5%, let's see if it's going to be hot, it's going to be light, it's going to be heavy, it's going to be dense, let's find out. So let's give it a swirl here. Ooh, you can smell, I can smell the fruit for sure. You know, I don't know if it's coming from here or here, but I can smell the fruit. So let's go to the Pinot first. Oh, definitely tart cherry on the Pinot. Cherry, spice. Ooh, you know, you get a little note of maybe some American oak here on the Pinot. Now coming into the Cabernet. Again, cedar notes. Subtle dark berry. I don't pick up any plum, but you definitely get some cherry, like dark cherry. You know, on the Cabernet. Little ash there too. Again, little cedar notes here. So what I do like about tasting wines or multiple wines from the same brand is to get that thumbprint across the board, you know. So what are they doing here? Are they more fruit? Are they more dry? Are they more, you know, fruit up front? Are they more robust? Let's find out where we go here. So two-step process, remember that. First is going to be the rinse. You know, let's taste for the acidity. No acidity, no play. You know what I say? No acidity, no play. Goes for me, it goes for both reds and white wines. I like it. And sweet wines. Gotta have balance if it's a sweet wine. Here we go. Okay, fair amount of acidity. Tannins, soft. Okay, not too bad. Then let's check out the Cabernet. Again, decent amount of acidity. They're lively wines. Okay, 14.5% alcohol. I don't really feel it here, but I feel it on the Pinot Noir. It was kind of hot. Okay, on the Pinot Noir. Now, here we go into the taste and find out where we are, where it's going to fall, how we're going to rate these wines. Pinot first. May have to do a little rinse coming after this here. Okay, so I have this Pinot Noir rather on the cool side. Light. You know, definitely pick up the cherry notes, pick up the spice, pick up some citrus notes to it as well, but very, very light. That first initial taste was kind of hot to me, and it may have toned it down, you know, after I got the fruitiness coming from the Cabernet coming behind it. But there's not going to be a lot to this. In, out, done, or in, swallow, done. Okay? So that's the Pinot Noir. But very easy to drink, you know, but I'm talking like light. Now for the Cabernet. There's definitely more of a fruity presence in the Cabernet. Ooh, plum on the taste. You can pick it on the nose, but definitely on the taste, on the finish, you get plum. But there's a nice fruitiness here on the Cabernet, medium like tannins, but for a cab's cab, it is still rather light. 14.5% alcohol. No, I don't get it. Okay, it's not bold. It's not robust at all. You know, but definitely pick up a nice fruitiness to it. A lot more fruit flavor than the Pinot Noir. Okay, so now let's give it a rating here on these two wines. So for the Pinot Noir, I'm gonna go sideways. I'm gonna go halfway. Now I'll tell you why. It is. I've drank or I've had lighter style Pinot Noirs, but still had a lot more character to it. I mean, this is just like, it's just thin. It's just there. Okay. I mean, as I said, it goes in, goes down, it's done. Okay. I think you can do. I feel you can do a lot better. You know, than what this is. But again, just for everyday drinking, that's my opinion. For everyday drinking, if you want to like take something and use it as a mix for sangria or something like that, or have something that you can cool down a little bit and drink it, I think this would be the one, you know, to do that with. But for me, I like to have a little bit more, especially coming out of California. You know, no matter what part it is, I like to have a little bit more, you know, even to my Pinot Noirs, even if it's a lighter style Pinot Noir. But this is extremely light, you know, on the palate. Extremely light, you know, on the taste, you know, but that's that for me. So halfway on this one. Now for the Cabernet. Then the Cabernet, again, has a lot more flavor to it than the Pinot Noir, but it's not a cab. Okay, it's a Cabernet, but it's not a cab. You know, again, it's like, what do they say? It's like light in the pants. You know, both of these. You know, it's like it's missing something, missing some like, you know, to both of these. You know, but I think it has a lot more going for it than the Pinot Noir. So I'm going to give this 3/4. It'd be something. I think it'd make it just a decent everyday simple drinking Cabernet. If you want a Cabernet, it's going like, or too big or too bold, too heavy. I think this is being a decent, simple drinking. Hear me again. Simple drinking Cabernet. You're not going to weigh the woes of the world and contemplate, you know, a new invention on this Cabernet. This one is going to like this. Here's this cab, and you move on. Okay. So 3/4, you know, the fruity present is nice. You know, it is dry. Both of these are dry. You know, there's not, you know, a buku amount of residual sugar, if any, existing. It's very minute, maybe 1%. I would go for it. Could be less. You know, but very minute. So there you have it. Halfway on the Pinot Noir. I feel you could do much better, even at $11.99, which is the regular retail price. You could do much better in the Pinot Noir. The Cabernet, 3/4, a decent everyday drinking Cabernet, you know, unassuming, you know. So there you have it, halfway, 3/4. The Wisconsin Wine Guy says, always let your palate be the guide when selecting your wines. And I think I have some Castle Rock Whites I'm going to be talking about too. So we'll see you next time. We're going to call that Castle Rock Part 2. Okay? All right. So Wisconsin Wine Guy, see you next time when we come back with some more wine reviews. And again, as always, let your palate be the guide. See ya. Ciao. Oh, I don't have any wine.